The first Grand Prix of the 2024 season has taken place. Red Bull fans are ecstatic, while others are beginning to realize that their favorite team's pilots won't be contending for the championship this year. Max Verstappen and the RB20 are exceptionally fast. But what about the others? How far behind Red Bull were Ferrari? Did they make the right choice by keeping Leclerc on the team? And why was Mercedes so slow? All of this in this video. Starting from the pre-season tests in the Ferrari paddock, there was a sense of optimism. It felt like the team had shed the burden of many problems that haunted them during the 2023 season. Poor tire management, car instability, low race pace, all of these factors prevented the team from capitalizing on good starting positions achieved through the car's performance over a single lap. It seems like all of this is now in the past. But is this improvement sufficient? It's now evident that it's not enough. While it was understood that Red Bull was concealing their true speed during testing, there was much hope that other teams, particularly Ferrari, would be close to them, and with improvements throughout the season, could even seriously contend for victories. However, it seems that not even Red Bull themselves expected such a significant advantage over others. Or rather, the advantage Max had over others, being on average 0.4 faster than his teammate, Checo Perez, who was driving at the same pace as Carlos Sainz. Therefore, it can be said that at least until Checo, Ferrari managed to get closer, but only with one driver. Carlos Sainz delivered a very strong race, being sufficiently aggressive and unafraid to attack, as expected from his last season with Ferrari. According to Carlos, the new car allows him to attack, something that the SF23 didn't allow. I love going racing, and I love going overtaking, being aggressive, attacking. With last year's car, it was simply impossible to do that. As soon as we were in dirty air, as soon as we overheated the tires, as soon as we pushed a bit too much, it was game over. And this year to come to the most rear-limited track of the season, the highest degradation, and do an overtaking. Attacking race for me is a relief, and it gives me a feeling that we will be able to do this more often this year. We can expect Carlos to engage in even more aggressive races. Now, he has nothing to lose, and only needs to demonstrate to other teams just how fast he is to secure a place in Formula One for the 2025 season. His main rival in this endeavour is Charles Leclerc in the same car, who faced numerous issues in this Grand Prix. From the early laps, Charles began complaining about brake problems. The Monegasque struggled to find balance and frequently locked up the brakes, overheating the tyres and losing pace. It was impossible in the first 15 laps. The issue was getting a lot worse every lap. I was obviously basing my braking for turn 9, 10 with the previous lap, which obviously fell too late all the time, but the issue was getting a lot worse. Every time I would brake 3 meters earlier, but I would still look up. Then at lap 15 or 20, the issue stabilized. The team told me on the radio that it was more than 100 degrees split between from front right and front left, which is huge. At that moment, I understood that the best thing I could do was just to bring the car home to the checkered flag. According to Leclerc, this was the first time he encountered brake issues with the SF24. Ferrari will investigate this problem and attempt to understand what caused it and how to rectify it. But was it a team issue? Or perhaps it was an incorrect setup chosen by Leclerc, a mistake that Carlos didn't make? Damon Hill commented on this and stated that, in his opinion, Carlos is the stronger driver. You'd never say that Charles has got the upper hand over Carlos. Carlos is able to beat him on many occasions and has done over a season. Has Charles matured enough where he could take a title fight right the way through without dropping the ball? In response to a journalist's question, if you were Toto Wolff, would you prefer Leclerc or Sainz in 2025 to replace Hamilton? Damon Hill replied, I would prefer Carlos. What do you think about this? Is Charles really inferior to Carlos? Share your thoughts in the comments. Mercedes is disappointing. At least that's how the first Grand Prix of the season played out. It seemed like the team had managed to address all the shortcomings that plagued them with previous cars. Throughout the 3 days of pre-season testing, the drivers were satisfied with the new car. They noted its stability compared to the W14 and praised its race pace as one of its strengths. The practice sessions before the Grand Prix also seemed promising. Mercedes managed to improve their qualifying pace, and they were even surprised that it was better than expected. However, starting from Friday practice and qualifying, everything didn't go according to plan. Lewis Hamilton couldn't find the optimal setup for qualifying and the race, making his car slow over a single lap and securing 9th place on the grid. Great hopes were pinned on Saturday. Everyone expected that the gamble on race pace would pay off, and Mercedes would be able to improve their positions. However, new problems emerged. George Russell quickly overtook Leclerc, who was having brake issues, but couldn't do anything against Perez and Carlos. Lewis managed to pass Fernando Alonso and then Oscar Piastri due to an early pit stop, but that was the end of the positivity. After that, both drivers simply tried to hold their positions, lacking the pace to fight for better positions. As it turned out after the race, both Mercedes drivers had problems with car cooling, which prevented them from fully utilizing the engine power and hindered tire management. It was a strange day today. Both Lewis and I faced a similar issue. The power unit was overheating from very early on, so we were managing that throughout. It was a shame as we made a really good start. I managed to make a good pass on Leclerc for second, but very quickly I had warnings on my steering wheel. To manage the overheating, we were losing tenths of a second per lap, and it was very difficult to hold off anyone behind me. It's a shame that we didn't get to show any real potential of the car. Disappointing result. It seemed that after moving away from the zero pods concept in the cars, there would be no more cooling issues, but they have returned. It is not worth jumping to conclusions and assuming that such problems will haunt the team throughout the season, but it still shows that Mercedes does not fully understand their new car. The team principal of Mercedes, Toto Wolff, believes that they need more time to unlock the full potential of the W15, and the team will come back stronger at the next Grand Prix. We got the cooling level wrong today, and that cost us. To manage the issue, we had to do a lot more lift and coast, and you then lose performance with the tires. It's a vicious circle. We need to look at what we did wrong, as we gave the drivers a car that was not competitive enough today. I'm keen to look at the data to make sure we don't face similar changes in Saudi Arabia. At the end of the day though, we have a brand new car and we are learning about it. We have seen the glimpses of performance here in Bahrain, but we couldn't materialize that today. We will go away and make sure we build on our learning and come back stronger. The only silver lining in all of this is that the team at least understands what went wrong with the car and why it was not competitive, and solving this problem does not require making radical changes to the car that would take months. According to Toto Wolff, the overheating issue slowed them down by approximately 0.6 of a second. This is a significant drop in pace, and if this problem had not occurred, Mercedes would have been much faster than McLaren and possibly faster than Ferrari, but still significantly behind Max Verstappen in the RB20. So Mercedes still has a long way to go to return to the top of Formula One, and we hope that on this journey there will be as few unexpected problems as possible. That's all for today. Like the video? Give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Let's follow the latest news from Formula One together.